Thank you. Good evening, and I hope you guys are all enjoying your food. But I'm going to promise you that the item which is coming just after mine will be like the food 10 times over. And I'm just going to tell you why. Okay? I was asked to introduce our honorable speaker for tonight. Personally, I felt no introduction was required. Mimi is one of the pillars of our association. Indeed, if I say one of the pillars, it is an understatement. Because if I understand the story right, and if Kamlev was an employer, Mimi will be employer number one. And that is exactly true. Because all the great ladies and gentlemen that you have within this association have some tentacles relating to her. So as a consequence, she needs no introduction at all. That is what I felt. But then the researcher in me sometimes say, okay, open up her and see what the outside world know of me. Because we know her internally here like a great mom, a great wife, a great daughter, a friend that you call when you're in need and need counsel. We know her like that. That's who she is internally. But external, what is it that she's known of? And here we like to call ourselves Dr. This and Dr. That. And I always refer to her as me. Then I was feeling, well, maybe I need to call her Dr. Ewungkem today. But then I thought it would actually be an undersell. Because there's something which is called the professor of practice. Which is saying that she has actually gone through the process of conferring doctorate on some. But that's not what I'm really after here. Because she is a lady of integrity. But what I wanted to actually talk about is what the body of her work is before I actually turn it over. Now, this is a lady who is interested in solving real problems. That's why that professor of practice is. She is interested in solving infectious disease problems, not any other infectious disease. She has a body of work on malaria. She has a body of work on Ebola. She has a body of work on COVID. And not in this society or not just around us here. In Cameroon, I looked through her publication list and a third or more of her collaborators are either in Cameroon or international. Okay, then I sometimes say, well, mathematics also, I'm a doctor in mathematics. Let me take a look. But she goes really deep into it, right? She actually looked at how things are changing, how the parasites are changing, and why it matters. How do we stop it from propagating, and how do we really make sure that we as humans come out ahead? But then as I read through, and the husband said, well, man, I went to some meeting, and it was top secret. I can't tell you what happened there. And I'm saying, okay, now this CV is not complete. Okay? And it turns out that it is not only Kamlev that thinks this lady is a top shot. Even the US government thinks so. And so they squeeze her away from Lehigh, lock her in a room somewhere, and say, you say your biology, do your magic. You say you're a mathematician, do your magic. I think the US is lucky to have her. And by extension, Kamlev is shining because of you. Thank you for that. I wanted to actually give this full expose of what outside is looking at you, so that we know that we are lucky. We are lucky to associate with you. Alright, so thank you for that. But then, what does a mathematician know about emotional intelligence? Mathematicians are cool, they are rational, right? Okay? They smile when they mean it. They are not like counselors who say, think about what the outside is saying, not what's inside you, and let's talk about it. You're a mathematician, So I am thinking, ladies and gentlemen, that what we're going to hear today will be groundbreaking from the standpoint that will come from an analytical rigor, a rational place, and it will make at least this mathematician who don't have emotion get a little bit of it. So please listen to our special speaker today, meaning
thank you so much. I love it when the kids are dancing. So I want to thank Dr. Makia for such a wonderful introduction. It's humbling. But in many ways, many people, I don't talk about who I am, but I think today a little bit, I just want to say that I am an academician at heart. I am a champion of education, and I'm willing to talk to any child that wants any advice about education. So I want to put myself open. Any parent who wants to talk about education, academia, let myself open. Do not hesitate to contact me. Well, I really want to say that you can tell I'm a teacher and how to have a laptop sitting up here, right? But I'm moving away from that. The first thing I want to talk about is cherishing our uniqueness in growing emotionally intelligent. I have to say that most of my talks are technical talks, giving a lot of conferences, invited speaker conferences, or maybe at church as a lady speaker. I feel very honored that the end of year party team chose me this year to speak. I hold that sacred. It means a lot to me to be able to stand here in front of all of you. And so with that said, I really hope you're all having a wonderful time. And for our Kamlevians, our friends, our guests, I hope you leave today with something. Even if it's not what I say, maybe with a full stomach and a lot of dancing. Okay? So, well, I have to say that when I said I was going to talk about this topic, my husband is like, that is too much book. I'm like, no, it's not. That's the first thing he told me. And you can see my sister-in-law is laughing because that's what they thought. But what I want you to know is that when I say emotional intelligence, it is not intellectual intelligence. That's not what this is all about. Okay? So, what is emotional intelligence? So what is emotional intelligence? We call it EQ. And it turns out there's a formal definition, and I don't like it. It is too formal. The godfather of emotional intelligence is Dr. Goleman Daniel. And he defines it informally this way. He says, basically, emotional intelligence refers to how well we handle ourselves and our relationships. You can think of it as how well do you handle your emotions, couched under how well do you cope in times of crisis. How well do you cope in your day-to-day activities to succeed in what you do? So basically, you listen to it, you hear resilience. You hear the ability to cope. That seems like it's something we all need to know. In a time like this, we've seen mental health has gone up. I have seen a lot of my friends' children are struggling. We know people who are struggling. And so this topic was chosen because there was someone who gave a talk and I enjoyed what they said. And I felt so bubbly and I'm like, I need to share this. Because I got so much out of it. And I hope you also can get something out of it today. Well, I said emotional intelligence is not intellectual intelligence. How are they different? Your IQ will get you in the door, but your emotional intelligence is what is going to help you succeed at your job. Your IQ measures your ability to learn. Your EQ measures your ability to use your emotions logically. With IQ, we try to convince people with facts. With EQ, we try to convince people with reason. Your IQ, you can be driven to lose your emotions because you feel like something is not working. You can't get it. But with EQ, you understand and manage your own emotions for the best in order to succeed for good reason. Well, IQ will surely get you through school, but maybe not excellent at life. EQ will help you succeed in life. Now, why do I say this? When I look at today, especially most of us who come from Africa, we push intellectual intelligence. We want our children to go as far as we want them. But in this day and age, are we prepping them to be emotionally intelligent? Are we doing so? It is so important right now. Now, I want to ask this question. How many people at work have had the question, what was your GPA in school? You got asked. Again, when was the last time you got asked, what was your GPA in school? A long time ago. So the point I'm making is that we need our children to grow intellectually intelligent. However, we need to develop them emotionally intelligent. We need to bring them up to that full. It is so important to succeed in this day because sometimes if you watch only the news, it can drive you crazy. And it's not only our children, it's also us as well. We have to grow emotionally intelligent. Now, what are the key elements of emotional intelligence? There are 4 key elements I want to mention. The first one is self-awareness. If you don't have that yet, the whole purpose of this talk, I have to tell you, I never put thought to it, but I've started to put thought to that because I felt really excited, and that's why I wanted to share this. When I talk about your emotional intelligence, being able to recognize your emotion, you have to be able to identify your feelings. Why do you feel the way you feel? Identify your strengths. Identify your weaknesses. Helps with good intuition, good decision making. I'm not saying that the decision making will make you succeed necessarily, but it's the ability to make that good decision and knowing that if that decision doesn't turn out to be what it is, you're willing to learn from it. Basically, it's our moral compass and our values. Okay? I want to read something. In our last CAMLEV meeting, Dr. Baker shared something with the group. What he thinks was a vision, what CAMLEV should be as a vision. There was a vision, there was an impact, and there was values. Being bold, inclusive, transparent, supportive, exemplary, fun, charitable, expertise. All of those, if you start to hear what I'm saying, is couched under what I'm talking about, self-awareness. We need to know who we are. Each and us, we need to know who we are. We need to know who our children are. Now, I'll have to pose a question to our friends here, to our parents. Who wants to tell me, if I say, what is the gift of your child? Just pick one of them. Can you identify a gift of your child, being aware of what that child's gifts are? Yes? Go ahead. Well, Mama says that he himself can say.
My gift is having a large brain, but also having a nice family that takes care of me every day.
That's his gift. He's aware of that gift. Any other person wants to share a gift of your child, or the child wants to share a gift. Well, I have to put my son on the seat. I'll tell you, my Jezreel, one of the gifts is his power to let go. I sometimes think I'll taunt him, but immediately it's over. And I think he doesn't know it, and I've never said this to him. I have learned a lot from him. Anyone wants to share a gift about your child? Well, I think some people are still eating. But what I want you to know, you have to be aware for ourselves, but also you need to know your children. You need to be aware of your gifts. Because when you are aware of their gifts, you can manage their strengths to develop them emotionally. We tend to be like, I want to be this person. It is a healthy thing to have a mentor to look up. But we need to identify our unique self, our unique capabilities, our unique gifts, to harness that and to ensure that we are succeeding in what we are doing. A finger, a thumb is not a pinky. They are all different, but they are all valuable. Now, you also have to be willing to listen to constructive criticism. That's not what I want either. Having the ability to listen to constructive criticism is really a valuable aspect of that self-awareness. The second element of emotional intelligence is self-management. Some say self-regulation. Change is inevitable. Can you adapt when change happens? We all will find changes from different times. Look, when my husband first saw me, I was like a size 4. Now I'm like, this is what you get. Okay? So I have changed. I'm not the same person I was when I was that young girl. But it's for all good reason. Parents, how are you developing your children? And even the children, the young guys who are sitting there, how are you developing your children to be able to allow for adaptation? When COVID hit, all of us were in a strange place. Who was prepared for COVID? We all had to change our lives. We all had to find a way to be isolated in some way. But what happened? By changing, those who were able to handle it a little better, they had to have that emotional IQ. They had to have that emotional stability to develop. And so parents, I am really calling upon you. You need to develop our children emotionally intelligent. Why likewise ourselves? Empathy. The third aspect of emotional intelligence is empathy. Wow, don't we need that? We need that in this day and age. Empathy is being considerate of other people's feelings, extend support and comfort. I'll go back and I'll still read. I have the sheet here. It's been in my wallet. The second aspect of Dr. Baker, what he shared, he says one of the impacts he wants this CAMLEF to have is to improve the lives of more than 1 million Cameroonians and friends in the Lehigh Valley and globally. That's what we're talking about, empathy. So as an association, we are also, whether it was directly or not, thinking about emotional intelligence. The last aspect, so I've talked about self-awareness, self-management, regulation. I've talked about empathy. The last one is social skills. Lo and behold, that's exactly what we're doing right here. Please, let's not take this for granted. It is an interesting, it's a valuable aspect of what we do. There's been a study that followed people for a long time. Those who lived a better life had that social gathering. Now, I want you to think back of all of us when we went to school in Cameroon, or even Africa. Africa does what? We like to push IQ. But I want you to think back. Most of the successes that's happening, there's a high EQ, emotional intelligence. Because we say, those who don't succeed, somehow they are left behind. But no, those who don't succeed still move up. It's the emotional intelligent aspect that is being developed right there. So, how do you manage your relationships? And this can happen, meaning you need to be able to manage your relationship. You need to be able to communicate effectively. But you also have to be able to listen and be able to say, I'm sorry. We cannot take this for granted. It is extremely essential for our day-to-day. It is essential for our children to understand the need for us to gather like this. It is essential for us as well to gather like this. Now, in gathering, we cannot all be the same. There are some kids who walk in the room and will light up the room like a lightning work. There are others who come in with their calmness. But both parties are actually able to enable social gathering in different ways. And so what we have to do is take hold of that strength that we each have. We don't have to be like the other person to gather to be able to do what we want. Build on emotional intelligence. Now I will say, I'm almost done here. Why is high IQ necessary? For those who are leaders at work, it improves decision making. It boosts your well-being. It also can increase your productivity. Remember, it's resilience. Do you know how many people study on how to put their feet inside a bowl of water? Resilience sometimes, and that's some of the things that we went through resilience without thinking about it. But now we have to be intentional with our children, especially most of us who immigrated to this country. We have to be intentional in ensuring that they are that way. They are emotionally intelligent. The ability to resolve conflict and the ability to be in a team. Wow. How can you grow emotionally intelligent? You have to strive to develop. You need to think about to develop those 4 aspects that I gave you. But at the same time, you have to be open to criticism and you have to be willing to change. There is no one who is 100% perfect. There is no one who is 100% always greatest. Everyone is great at something and everyone has a weakness at something. So, I just said, how is this in our cultural embeddings? We have been practicing emotional intelligence. They can call it EQ, but we've been living it if you think about it. But right now, we take it for granted because we live through that. But our children, they have a different life than we did. As parents and as children, it is our imperative to ensure that our children are developing those emotionally intelligent capabilities. So I want to end by saying emotional intelligence, growing in emotional intelligence has no age limit. The child, the teenagers, the young adults, the young at heart, all can grow emotionally intelligent. COVID did not pick and choose your age. Well, maybe the older suffered more, but it did not pick your age when you were being isolated. Maybe some got isolated a little bit more, but we all have to grow and develop emotionally intelligent. It is essential at this time that we have so much hatred out there. It is essential at this time that we're seeing things we don't want our children to see. Some things that we were protected from in many ways. Okay? Daniel Goleman says, Dr. Goleman, he says, we are being judged by a new yardstick, not by how smart we are or by our training and expertise, but also how well we handle ourselves and each other. That is really the new way now with this kind of a world we are living in. There are times when I'm like, maybe I should go back to Africa because of what I see. But then I realize I'm here. So I have to develop those emotional intelligent capabilities. To the children, your dream of your future will affect your activities now. What choices you do. To the parents, the dream you have for your children is also dependent on the activities now. How you want them to have and grow those emotional intelligent capabilities starts now. Please have both IQ plus EQ in everything you do. They need to be equipped with those, especially in this world of this day. They really need to do that. Help your children grow emotionally intelligent. So I want to end. I have to to get this burger. So, to all the children, they might be like, what are you talking about? Well, the difference is that your IQ is your brain. Your emotional intelligence is all within here. Those are two different things, but still connected to your brain. When you look at this burger, what do you see? Lettuce. What else? Cheese. What else? Tomatoes. Okay. What else? Beef. The bun. What is this kind of? Cheese as well. Well, I thought I had to end with this, and this came as an afterthought. Because as you think about emotional intelligence, it's not measurable easily as your IQ is. But when you look at that burger, I was passing by the kitchen and I saw my son JJ's AC when he was just 2 years. We were there when he was in 2nd grade. And I thought, I think this makes sense to me right now. And I want to share it. It's so tiny because I would have liked to show one of the children to read it. But the printout didn't come out good. So I'll read it myself. So it was in 2nd grade he wrote this story about a burger. And it reads, when I was about to take a bite of the burger, I was trembling with excitement to eat the burger. The hamburger felt almost as soft as a stuffed animal. It smelled as good as perfume. When I bit into it, the lettuce crunched in my mouth like the dry leaves out in the fall. The onions made my eyes to tear up. And when I finished the burger, oh, it felt so good. Really good. Why am I sharing that little point from a 2nd grader? The point is the imagination of what could be. When we look at this burger, you can, I don't see leaves in it, but you can think of the crunchiness of the leaves. It's your imagination that you're building up. Develop those imaginations as we develop our children emotionally intelligently, as we develop ourselves emotionally intelligently. I want to thank you all so very much. It has been an honor to talk to you all today. And I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic rest of the evening. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year to all.
Wow. Please, can we give a round of applause for Dr. Ewungkem? Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. When you were presenting, I was thinking about COVID, and I was thinking how hard we all had to adjust our lives, our daily activities, our jobs, to navigate through that difficult moment. And with this in mind, I believe tomorrow, when we reflect, it's going to make more sense and will be readily available for us. Self-awareness, self-management, resilience, those are the tools you should take home tonight. I would like to call upon all the kids to come up to the floor.